Hey guys, I'm Phil and welcome to the show. Today I'm back after a month of break while I've been doing exams and stuff. In the last 7 days I've had 3 exams and it's been pretty awful, but I've come out on the other end stronger and healthier than before. And I've got a lot to talk about in terms of Quake. There's been a lot happening in Quake Champions and other games as well. In the background of this video here, I'm going to have some footage of me playing Quake World from the last month. I've been playing quite a bit of Quake World, I'll get to that later. And before we get into Quake, I also want to say that now I'm back, now I'm making this video, I'm hoping to have at least 2 videos a week, every week, until my summer ends, kind of towards the end of February. So, with all that said, I'm going to be talking about other games first and then getting into Quake Champions. If you just want to skip straight to me talking about Quake Champions, there's a timestamp on the screen right now. Alright, so what has been going on in the world of Quake? And let's start in Quake World, where Thunderdome 9 has kicked off. We have 118 participants from around the globe getting together to play this. We have a North America division in Thunderdome finally. That's something that I know people have been interested in. They actually have a high division and a low division. I think 21 players from North America altogether. We have an Australia division as well. 16 people from Oz coming out, representing the country. We have 2 divisions too, and everyone else is in the Europe regions. They've got a bunch of divisions. The tournament has a very different map pool to the usual Quake World fare. We have Aerowalk, ZTN DM3 and DM4, 3 of the big 5 maps, but as well we have Monsoon and Bravado, with an option to play the other 2 big 5 maps, DM2 and DM6 as well. I'm a big fan of this personally. I know a lot of the older, more experienced players aren't. Monsoon is a really interesting map. If you've played Quake 4, you're probably familiar with it. It's in Quake 4 by a guy called Lucan. It's got the same geometry here in Quake World, but very, very different item placement. There's a grenade launcher up where the Mega is in Quake 4. There's the red and yellow armors have been swapped. The lightning gun is down with the yellow armor. I feel like this item layout is almost entirely balanced around having the lightning gun and yellow armor together, in fact. And it plays pretty weirdly, I've got to say. I know people actually prefer playing the original Quake 4 layout in Quake World, so it's a bit of a funny map, but we're stuck with it for this tournament, so we've just got to keep playing it for now. Bravado is a really cool map. I'm a pretty big fan. I think the ammo distribution's interesting. There's maybe a few too many lightning gun cells on there, but overall Bravado has a lot of fun spaces to fight in, and I find it just a bit more, there's a bit more breathing room, there's a bit more width in a lot of the areas than the usual big 5 maps. Now, I am actually playing in the Thunderdome Australian Low Division, and I played my very first game today where I beat Tree very, very convincingly. I'm hoping to upload some games as I go along, you know, maybe do some analysis, or maybe just put them up and, I don't know, maybe like cast my own games. I'm not totally sure yet. I'm going to see as I go. My games against Tree today were a bit too one-sided. The poor guy struggled to get a frag on me. I was just too good. But yeah, there are harder opponents coming, and there's going to be some really good content there. I'm really enjoying Quake World 2v2 as well. I think that's just a really fun mode, so I'm hoping to do some videos on that. If you haven't played Quake World before, I think 2v2 is a really fun mode to get into, and overall, I think people should just check out Quake World, because it's a really great little thing. In the world of CPMA, the CPMA League, a big international competition, has kicked off, and, you know, in the top division we've got some of the big names like Gaia and HAL 9000, just such high caliber players coming out. No prizes from the looks, these guys are just playing for honor and glory. Also in CPMA, the OAFPS Kenya Cup number 2 has been pushed back. We don't have a date for it yet. It kind of fell at the worst possible time while people had exams and just everyone was busy, so we've knocked that back a little bit. In that tournament we have FJO's new beta of the map, FJO Beta 6. Check it out, I think this is going to be a really important map. I think this one could be a keeper. I'm going to link to it in the description of this video. And overall in CPMA we have 1.5 kind of on the horizon. You know, it's going to happen soon. I don't know the exact plan at this point, but there is some great stuff coming. I've heard some whispers of some planned features, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm not allowed to talk about it, but definitely keep your eyes peeled for that one. I guess Diabotical's chugging along as well. I don't want to get people too excited talking about this game. Not much has happened, but we have had some updates from Too Good. Everything looks slow and steady. The game visually is looking nice, and like the gameplay, well, we haven't actually seen gameplay, just moving around the maps looks solid. One thing I really did like Too Good showing off, or at least talking about, was his party mode idea. A non-competitive way for people to play and kind of be forced into their mechanics, where you're like, you know, you have 4 people and you have to play a mode where like you're shooting plates that fly over your head or something, and you're practicing mid-air rockets. You know, just these simple little games, and then you get thrown into a different game completely and you're doing something else with the same people. I think this is a great way to get people involved in the game. I think this is a great way for people to practice while having fun, and I think this is something that's been missing from every other Quake title. Alright, so Quake Champions has had 3 big events since the last time I did a video. I've had DreamHack Denver, the Italian Open, and ESWC Paris, and they've all been on the same patch with the same kind of weird dual meta of Doomslayer plus Rockets. And I've got to say, guys, I'm not a fan. The games have just been kind of weird. There have been lots of games where there have been constant fights, constant aggression, like just really crazy stuff, and other games that have just slowed down to an absolute crawl, and not in a smart way at all. So I'm talking like Vu playing Solag against Cypher. You know, I talked about this in my Solag video, how I think the Solag nerfs weren't quite enough. I think the corner camping with Acid Speed is still way too viable. For fast games, I think you need to look no further than Noctis versus Kilson on Corrupted Keep at Denver. It was exciting at the time, you know, these guys were just going ham, flying into each other's faces, hitting shots, but on reflection, I think it was pretty shallow. I think there was a lot of the same engagement being taken over and over, and just nothing actually changing in the map as they were fighting and fighting until, you know, someone just hit the better rocket. We've had a new patch here in November, and frankly it hasn't done much to fix it. It's made Doom easier to hit between the legs. I think that will make a difference, but the double jump is the thing really breaking Doom right now, and while the lightning gun isn't able to punish that, I think he actually needs a balance change. Now I understand why they're not gonna do this, right? They don't want to balance a champion based on bugs, right? Based on the static meshes which are gonna come, which are gonna change up how the OG works, while like the rockets hitting between the legs was inconsistent. They want to give this time to settle, and they want to see where Doom goes. But I think even with the lightning gun hitting better, you know, with the static mesh changes, with any hitbox changes you can make other than making him significantly fatter, Doom is still just going to be so strong as he is right now. But I'm not here to just make predictions. DreamHack Winter is coming up. If it's still in this patch, frankly, I'm not sure how excited I can be about it. We do have a lot of great players going though. We do have Astro Boy and Steege from Australia going to represent us. I think those guys have a lot of potential to do damage, especially in this patch, while it's kind of like the Rocket game. It's a little bit more unpredictable. But ultimately, I'm just waiting for the static hitbox change to come in. I'm really excited about getting back into the game once that happens, once I can start hitting Lightning Gun again. I've heard really great things about the consistency lately. You know, I haven't touched the game in the last month. I've been too busy. But I've heard things have gotten a lot better, which is really exciting to hear. So as far as these tournaments go, we saw Razy win at Denver. Anyone who's heard me talk about Razy probably knows I'm not the biggest fan of his, but he just played the best on the day. He was more consistent than Dewey or Garpy. I don't have heaps to say about these games. I think Dewey was really exciting to watch. He pulled off some crazy stuff. His telefrags against Razy were really great to see on their Corrupted Keep. I think it's really great to punish Razy. I think Razy's movement can be a little bit predictable, but at the end of the day, Dewey just made some really weird calls, and Razy was ready to punish when he did. So yeah, that was well played by Razy. The Italian Open, I've hardly watched any of. I need to get around to that still. And ESWC Paris, the thing that really stood out for me were the French commentators. I don't know if you guys all heard that, but those guys were just so exciting to listen to. So much enthusiasm, so much energy. They really made the event for me, you know. Alright, well that's a bit of a quick glance at the last month in Quake. I hope you've enjoyed this. I'm hoping to get a bit more in-depth into some of the Quake Champions games that have happened, pull them apart a bit, talk about what is really happening in this current patch, why Doom is so absolutely dominant, in case it isn't, you know, obvious taking a look. I'm hoping to dig into a couple of issues like defensive play. I want to talk about like the nature of Quake Duel a lot more. I want to make some videos talking about Quake Live Duel. I've got a lot on my plate that I'm hoping to finally put into motion now that I've got time over summer. So be sure to tune into my channel, check out my Twitter. There are going to be videos up. There's going to be all kinds of exciting Quake content coming out from me. I hope you guys are ready. I've been Phylum. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you listened to this whole video and not just the Quake Champions bit, because there was some good stuff in the other bit. I'll see you guys next time.